Welcome to the silent truth, where the stories you hear aren't just tales, they're lessons carved out of real emotions, real mistakes, and the silence that follows when words hurt more than actions. Take a seat, turn down the noise around you, and listen closely, because today's story is one that unravels in a way no one expected. It was Christmas Eve, the night everyone waits for all year, where warmth, laughter, and family dinners bring people closer. The snow fell quietly outside, lights glimmered on the trees, and families across the neighborhood gathered together. Inside my home, I had prepared everything with the care of a mother who wanted nothing more than to see her daughter smile. The tree stood tall, decorated with ornaments that held memories from years gone by. I placed the gifts beneath it, wrapped neatly, each one chosen carefully. My daughter, Mia, had always been the center of my world. Since her childhood, every Christmas was about making her feel loved, about making her believe that magic existed even in the smallest of things. But things change when children grow, when independence takes root, and when pride begins to overshadow gratitude. This Christmas I wasn't prepared for how sharp that change would feel. The house filled slowly with relatives, cousins, neighbors, and friends. The table stretched long with roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, pies, and all the recipes that had been passed down in the family. I stood at the head of the table, smiling, welcoming everyone. Mia walked in late, dressed beautifully, her phone in her hand, laughter spilling from her lips as she spoke to her friends rather than to me. I brushed it off at first, reminding myself that she was young, that she wanted to live her own life. I placed her plate at the table, sat near her, and tried to start a conversation. But every word I said was interrupted by the tapping of her fingers on the screen, the occasional roll of her eyes, the dismissive tone that she didn't even notice. As the evening went on, gifts were exchanged. I had saved for months to buy her a watch she'd once admired in a store window. When she tore the wrapping paper and saw it, her face didn't light up. Instead, she sighed and said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Oh God, Mom, this isn't even the one I wanted. Don't you ever listen?" Laughter erupted from some of the younger cousins, and whispers filled the room. My cheeks burned, my hands trembled, and I tried to force a smile, pretending it didn't sting. But Mia wasn't finished. She went on, mocking my choice, complaining that I never understood her taste, saying how embarrassing it was that her mother couldn't even get a simple gift right. My relatives shifted uncomfortably. Some avoided eye contact, others chuckled nervously. The humiliation cut deeper than I can put into words. I excused myself, pretending I had something to fetch from the kitchen, but really, I needed to breathe. I leaned against the counter, tears threatening to fall, asking myself how the little girl who once clung to me with love in her eyes had turned into someone who could publicly tear me apart on a night meant for love. The night dragged on, my smile cracked, and I played the role of a cheerful hostess while inside I crumbled. Mia never apologized, not even when the guests left. She went to her room, laughing on the phone, while I cleaned the dishes alone in silence. That Christmas was the coldest one I had ever known, not because of the weather, but because of the emptiness in my heart. The days that followed were heavy. Mia continued to live her life, posting pictures, going out with friends, barely speaking to me except when she needed something. I withdrew, focusing on my work, avoiding confrontation. The humiliation still echoed in my chest, but I told myself she would realize, someday, the weight of her words. Then, a week later, everything changed. It was a Saturday night. I was sitting on the couch, reading quietly, when my phone buzzed. It was Mia. I didn't answer immediately. The pain of Christmas still lingered, and I wanted her to know that my love was not to be taken for granted. The phone stopped ringing, then started again, and again. The calls kept coming, 10, 20, 30 times. By the time it reached 50, I grew worried. Her messages poured in, desperate, frantic. "Mom, please answer. Mom, I need you. Mom, I messed up. Please, I'm scared." I picked up on the 71st call. Her voice cracked on the other end, trembling, terrified. She was crying uncontrollably, words tumbling out between sobs. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have treated you that way. I need you. I don't know what to do." I closed my eyes, my heart pounding, torn between the pain of the past week and the instinct of a mother who would walk through fire for her child. I asked her where she was. She gave me the address of a place across town, a neighborhood I didn't recognize. Without a second thought, I grabbed my coat, keys, and drove through the night. When I arrived, I saw her sitting on the curb outside a dimly lit building, mascara smeared, shivering from the cold. She looked smaller than I had ever seen her, fragile, broken. As soon as she saw me, she ran into my arms, sobbing uncontrollably. She confessed between tears that she had gone to a party with friends, trusted the wrong people, and ended up in a situation where she felt unsafe, abandoned. She had called her friends first, but no one picked up. When fear wrapped its claws around her, the only person she could think of was me, the mother she had humiliated just days ago. I held her tightly, stroking her hair, whispering that she was safe now. Inside, I felt a mix of emotions, relief that she was unharmed, sorrow that she had suffered, and a quiet ache that it took fear for her to see the truth. I drove her home in silence, her hand clutching mine like the little girl she once was. That night, as she lay on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, she finally spoke. Her words were broken, trembling with regret. "Mom, I was wrong. I was cruel to you, and I can't take back what I said on Christmas. But when I was scared tonight, the only person I wanted was you, because no matter what I do, I know you love me more than anyone ever could. I'm sorry, Mom, I really am." Tears streamed down my face as I listened. I wanted to scold her, to remind her of the pain, but instead I simply said, "I love you, Mia. I always will. But respect, my dear, is the greatest gift you can give me. Not the watch, not the dinners, not the decorations, just respect." She nodded, her eyes red, her heart finally opening to the truth. Over the next few days, something shifted in our home. Mia began helping with chores, asking about my day, sitting with me at dinner without her phone in hand. She apologized again and again, not just with words, but with actions. I didn't forget the humiliation, but I chose forgiveness, because motherhood is not about keeping score. It's about teaching, guiding, and hoping that lessons learned in tears will turn into wisdom in time. Christmas had left me humiliated, broken in front of others. But a week later, when my phone rang 99 times, it reminded me of one thing: no matter how far children wander, no matter how pride blinds them, they will always come back to the love that raised them. And sometimes the silence after humiliation speaks louder than any words. It teaches without shouting, it heals without forcing, and it shows that even when respect is lost, love can still be found again.